chapter 12. Now, you know, there are some people who are spectators. And then after the war is over, they will come and then they want to have their say. Yeah. And so we'll be looking at the people from Ephraim. You know where is Ephraim, right? Ephraim is on the west side of the river Jordan. And so then the men of Ephraim gathered together, crossed over towards Zaphon. Okay. Ephraim is this side. Jordan, and then Jephthah and all those, they are this side. So they crossed over Zaphon and said to Jephthah, why did you cross over to fight against the people of Ammon? Why did you cross over and fight? Now, actually, they did cross over. They remain here. The original meaning means, why did you go to battle? That's all. It doesn't mean crossing a river or anything. Yeah. Why did you go to fight against the people of Ammon and did not call us to go with you? Che. Wow. Hey, hello, you went to war, how come you never call us? We will burn your house down on you with fire. Wow. Quite serious. Where were you the last 18 years? Where were you the last 18 years? We look at the last chapter 10 verse 8. Chapter 10 verse 8. So, chapter 10 verse 8. From that year they harassed and oppressed the children of Israel, the Ammonites. The Ammonites. They harassed and oppressed the children of Israel for 18 years. All the children of Israel who were on the other side of the Jordan, that means on the east side, in the land of the Amorites in Gilead. So for 18 years, the people in Gilead, they were harassed by the Ammonites. But Ephraim, where were you? Where were you? When they sounded the trumpet now, where were you? Did you cross the river? No, you didn't. So it was a very bad attitude. It is very divisive, to divide and to cause such problems within the camp, within the nation of Israel. And some people, they have got this kind of bad attitude. Let me share with you a few of their characteristics. Number one, they are brave after the fight. Right now, they only become brave after the fight. During the fight, you call them, wow, they're all very chicken. But they are brave after the fight. Number two, they know their rights, but they refuse to accept responsibility. They know their rights. I'm a child. I'm an Israelite. I know my rights and this and that. But they refuse to accept responsibility because when the trumpet sounds, you are supposed to come and help your fellow brethren, but you didn't. Even in the previous chapters we studied, not all the tribes came to help whenever one is in trouble. Number three, they were always ready to fight their own brothers but not their enemies. They're always ready to fight their own brothers and not their enemies. And I tell you, from my own experience, it is true. We can go out and do great exploits for God and so on. Then when you come back, the greatest enemy is not outside the church. No. The greatest enemy I have are inside the church. They will come and criticize me. No. Elder, why you like that? Why you do this? Why you do that? I said, I will say the same thing like Jephthah would say to them. Okay, but later. Okay. And number four, they're always ready to share the spoil. After all said and done, we still want our share of the plunder. Bad attitude. In fact, the Ephraimites, you won't hear too much of them later, except that they were the center of rebellion. As you go into the books, Samuel, Kings, and so on, and then Israel was divided into northern kingdom and southern kingdom. You find the people of Ephraim, they were always at the peak of rebellion. They were always the problem makers. These were the Ephraimites. We will come to that maybe next year. So, don't be an Ephraimite Christian. Okay? Don't be an Ephraimite Christian. Don't try and cause problem within the camp. Don't criticize your fellow brethren. If you are not doing, you don't flow, don't stand in the way. Yeah, some people, they don't flow, but yet they stand in the way and they get in the way. So you stand aside and let the rest flow. Okay, a couple of verses about envy and so on. Galatians chapter 5 verse 21. Galatians 5:21. Galatians 5:22 is about the fruit of the Spirit, but Galatians 5:21. Galatians 5:21. Envy. Surely they were envious of what Jephthah and his people had done. Envy, murders, drunkenness, revelries, and the like, of which I tell you beforehand, just as I also told you in time past, that those who practice such things will not inherit the kingdom of God. So envy is serious. Don't be envious. Okay. Philippians 2:3. Philippians 2:3. Let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem others better than himself. Let each one of you look out not only for his own interest, but also for the interest of others. Yeah, in fact, Ephraimites should have come and now, see how they can help Jephthah and so on to rebuild after the war. But instead, they were rebuking Jephthah and his men. Okay, so we ought to cut out all this even within our environment. And Jephthah, Jephthah is not like Gideon. Gideon had the same problem. Gideon, after the war, Ephraimites came and then Ephraimites said, wow, you never call us, this and that. Then Gideon was more diplomatic and nice. He said, no, isn't the vintage and the grapes that you were doing of greater value than what we are doing? So he gave a very sweet diplomatic answer. Remember? Okay? So that one you will find that in Judges chapter 8, verse 1 to 3. Okay? That one you can go back and read. Judges chapter 8, verse 1 to 3. Gideon was soft. But not Jephthah. Jephthah was a bandit, gangster. So he said, my people and I were in a great struggle with the people of Ammon. And when I called you, you did not deliver me out of their hands. That means what? When I called you, you did not respond. And how did he call? Send email? No, those days they do trumpet call, war cry. And when I saw that you would not deliver me, I took my life in my hand and crossed over. That means I went to war against the people of Ammon. And the Lord delivered them into my hand. Why then have you come up to me this day to fight against me? And I tell you, this is only my guess. My guess is the Ephraimites caught Jephthah at the wrong time. You know why? I already made a foolish vow. My daughter is going to be a single woman. I don't have lineage down my family. No more family tree. I'm in a bad mood today, man. And then you come and scold me. I'm going to give it to you. Verse 4. Now Jephthah gathered together all the men of Gilead and fought against Ephraim. Now this is sad, because this is civil war. God is not pleased when there is strife in his family. Anyway, and so it happened. And the men of Gilead defeated Ephraim, because they said, and this was an insult. The Ephraimites say to them, you Gileadites are fugitives of Ephraim among the Ephraimites and among the Manassites. You know what they're saying? Hey, the right place to be is on the west side of Jordan. The right place to be is here. But you guys are fugitives. You guys are here on the east side, running away. God gave us the land. Of course, this is the perfect will of God. But They chose to stay here and God agreed. So they were insulted. You Gileadites are fugitives of Ephraim, among the Ephraimites and among the Manassites. The Gileadites seized the forts. So that means Jephthah and his men seized the forts of the Jordan before the Ephraimites arrived. And when any Ephraimite who escaped said, let me cross over, the man of Gilead would say to him, are you an Ephraimite? And so on, before I continue. So what they did was, the Jephthah and his people, they came, the forts are here, means near the river. So the Jephthah and his men, they came and they guard here, so that if these people who have crossed over, now they want to retreat back, they will be caught here, they'll be arrested here. And then to test them, so, are you Ephraimite? If you're not Ephraimite, I'll let you cross back into the west side. But if you're Ephraimite, I will exterminate you. Okay? And how did they test the guy? Are you an Ephraimite? If he says no, then they would say to him, then say, Shibboleth. Shibboleth. Shibboleth means what? Flowing river. Okay? Shibboleth. Since you are standing by the stream, right? Stream flowing. Shibboleth. And he would say, Shibboleth. For he could not pronounce it right. Hey, what a difference a word will make now. Life and death, you better pronounce carefully. I mean, I can tell between a Singaporean and a Hong Konger. We say Michael, he say Michael, Right now. You say Jordan, he say Jordan. Right now. So, you say Shibboleth. You say, no, Shibboleth. For he could not pronounce it right. Then they would take him and kill him at the fords of the Jordan. And there fell at that time 42,000 Ephraimites. A lot. More than what Abimelech did to his brothers. 42,000 Ephraimites. And henceforth, you find that the Ephraimites did feature very much significantly in Israel's history thereafter. Okay? But that is a consequence of strife within the church. A lot of people get killed, a lot of people get hurt, and so on. But back to the speech. Your speech can give you away. Apostle Peter, right? His speech gave him away. Jesus was arrested, and then he was standing a distance away. Then a girl come and said, hey, are you not from Galilee? He said, no, I don't know. I don't know the man. Okay. Matthew 26. Let's turn to Matthew 26. (69 to 73). Matthew chapter 26. It records the denial of Peter. Now Peter sat outside in the courtyard, and a servant girl came to him saying, you also were with Jesus of Galilee. But he denied. Right? I do not know what you are saying. And so on and so forth. Yeah, he said, I do not know the man. Verse 72, I do not know the man. And then verse 73, and a little later, those who stood by came up and said to Peter, surely you are one of them, for your speech betrays you. Because you don't talk like one of us. You talk like one of those up north in Galilee, like the fishermen do. His speech betrayed him. But you know something? We are not afraid of our speech. My question to you is, has your speech changed since you know Christ? How do you speak for Christ? Be not ashamed. Okay? So now that you are a child of God, you are a believer, your speech must be different. You speak of Christ. That's why I admire all these people out in the field, even like Shirley and Christina and all Doris and all this, Emily. Every opportunity, what do? We tell them Jesus Christ. Hey, but they are young kids, what? No, we tell them now. Better catch them while they are young. Even in the adults ministry, when I preach and so on, I don't care. at the end of my evangelistic message, I would pray the sinner's prayer, and then I ask, who said this prayer for the first time? And I invite them to come to the front. You know why? Because in their very primitive setting and so on, maybe they don't really understand the assurance of salvation, and so on. They just followed as a family, father Christian, mother Christian, they come to church, they're also Christian and so on. But they need to personally invite Jesus into their life. So we must be bold, we cannot be shy. So there was one church that night, I invited, whole church came out to the front. Okay, maybe they didn't understand me, but I like to see positively that they wanted a rededication unto the Lord. So every opportunity, our speech must be tainted with, not tainted, must be filled with the gospel of Christ. Okay? Our speech must be different. So, on the day you deny Christ, you have a problem. Yeah? Don't deny Him. Pronounce it right. Okay, so, verse 7. And Jephthah judged Israel 6 years. Then Jephthah the Gileadite died and was buried among the cities of Gilead. Okay, so that is judge number 8. Next week I tell you, you must memorize without looking at the textbook. All the judges. Okay, now we come to judge number 9, number 10, number 11. These are minor judges. So far, we have seen a few minor judges. Okay? You know, number 3, Shamgar is a minor judge. He only had one stick and he killed 600 people. And then we had Tola and Jair also. Nothing much except they got many children and donkeys. Okay? But they are defender of God's people. Now we come to Ibzan, Elon, and Abdon. Minor judges. Now, these 3 had nothing significant recorded about their exploits. Really nothing. Compared even to Zola and Tyre, they had little. Not much was told about their exploits, though their family and all those, this was mentioned. Okay, verse 8. After him, that means after Jephthah, Ibzan, number 9 judge, of Bethlehem, judged Israel. He had 30 sons, and he gave away 30 daughters in marriage. Wow, 30 sons, 30 daughters. Wow, very busy, eh? So he's in a matchmaking business. And brought in 30 daughters from elsewhere for his son. So he got 30 sons, he got 30 daughters, and he brought in 30 daughters-in-law. Full-time, man. Full-time. This is a full-time PMC ministry. Okay? But there is a flaw here. Why did he bring in 30 daughters from elsewhere for his sons? These are outsiders. Sad. But he's a judge. But why did he bring from outside? Why not within the family of God, within Israel? So you see the Bible. The Bible is a record of all the good and the bad. The Bible is transparent. Because if it was man's effort, man would say, hey, leave out the bad one. Just say the good things. Don't say all the embarrassing things. You know, sometimes when there is a charitable cause or some event and so on, and then when they want to list down credit okay, who did what, thanks, so and so and so. And if you find that actually your contribution to this cause or to this organization or to this event is so minimal, you tell the organizer, hey, please don't mention my name. I didn't do very much. I only did a little bit. Mention the rest, don't mention me. Right? We always feel that way, right? But here the Bible records whether you did a lot or did little, it is mentioned. Whether you did right or did wrong, it is mentioned. King David, a man after God's heart, but for the murder and the adultery, it was mentioned. So Ibzan, what has he done? Nothing. Okay? 30 sons, 30 daughters, and he brought daughters-in-laws from outside. But I just want to show you one pattern. Jephthah had No son. Right? 0. Only one daughter. Before Jephthah, it was who? Jair. Right? Jair. Jair had how many sons? 30. He did nothing much. Okay. Then Jephthah did quite a bit. He got 0 sons. And then we have Ibzan, who did nothing. He got 30 sons. Life is not fair. Okay. But I don't understand the grand plan of God. But anyway, and after Ibzan, okay, he judged Israel 7 years. Then Ibzan died and was buried in Bethlehem. So what can I say about Ibzan? He was prosperous. That's all. Yeah, what? To support so many must be quite prosperous. Okay. And after him, verse 11. So, Jephthah was here, Jair is here, and then where is this Ibzan? Ibzan is somewhere actually. Okay. Then now it's Elon. Elon, and after that will be Abdon. Okay, Elon up there. So, after him, Elon, the 10th judge. But he is also the 4th minor judge. Ibzan is the 3rd minor judge. And Elon is the 4th minor judge. But the 10th judge overall. Am I confusing you? No. Okay, quite good. After him, Elon, the Zebulunite, judged Israel. He judged Israel 10 years. And Elon, the Zebulunite, died and was buried at Elon in the country of Zebulun. Nothing significant. But he is one of the judges, one of the 12. Not 13, one of the 12 mentioned there. Hey, you know, God is not only looking for heroes. Yeah. He's a friend of the sinner. So don't worry about your past and your insignificance. You are a child of God. It doesn't mean, oh, I must be evangelist, I must be this, I must be whatever. Then God will recognize me. Elon, what has he done? Nothing. He lived and he died. Okay. After him, Abdon, the 11th judge, the 5th minor judge, the son of Hillel, the Piratonite, judged Israel. He had 40 sons and 30 grandsons. Now, in some Bible, they use the word nephews. Is yours nephew? Grandson. Okay, some version they use nephew, but okay, anyway, 40 sons, 30 grandsons, who rode on 70 young donkeys. You know, again, this guy is wealthy. Prosperity, you know, people of those days, most of them would be what? Walking on foot, they'll be walking, not riding on donkeys. Only those who are rich and those who are peacekeepers, they'll be riding on donkeys. So I believe like Jair and so on, the children were with him, with the judge, and then they were helping him to keep the peace in the land. He judged Israel 8 years. Then Abdon, the son of Hillel, the Piratonite, died and was buried in Piraton, in the land of Ephraim, in the mountains of the Amalekites. And that is chapter 12. But before we end chapter 12, my question to you is, did they make it to the Hall of Faith? You go and read Hebrews chapter 11. Read a few times to see whether their names are there. They didn't make it to the Hall of Faith because they did nothing significant. Still, they were named as judges. Okay?